G'day guys, Josh here. Hope you guys are having a great day today. Welcome to another episode of Lacking Financial Education with myself. I want to do a much easier subject instead of a much specialized subject, and that's talking about diversification. You may have heard of this term, diversification, flopped out at every single investment seminar, basically, in every single thing ever, probably in your books or anything about it as well, when they talk about diversification. Now, diversification, what is it? Okay, so diversification is basically investing your sum of money across the classic asset classes in a way that it just basically captures all of them. So whether it be property, infrastructure, cash, fixed interest, Australian shares, international shares, sorry, domestic shares, not Australian shares, but I'm Australian, so that they're interchangeable. And that's what, that's diversification in a very summary type as well, very summary and simple type for you to know. However, with diversification as well, it actually draws in a bit further. So it goes beyond the five asset classes as well, but it also goes into subclasses. Now, when you go onto cash, where you want to invest your cash, whether it be actual cash accounts, actual savings account, cash management trust, a term deposit, how long is a term deposit, and various outcomes like that, where it's just like, wait a second, term deposit rates could be better, or maybe a cash management trust so I can access at any time. You're not terribly too sure. Now we can go into fixed interest where it is, a variable rate, a fixed rate, a long term, a short term, and medium term, where they all have their own associated risks. And then you could also go into the corporate sector. You can go from the government. These little diversification hurdles are actually non-ending in a lot of asset classes. Instead of considering five asset classes, you've got to consider about 100 to 150 different types of investments altogether. And you may be like, oh, cash and fixed interest seems a bit small. But then you go to property where you need commercial property, rental property, infrastructure. What type of infrastructure? Is it going to be dams, water, electricity, toll roads? And it goes on and on. Commercial property, is it going to be a shopping center? Is it going to be a warehouse property? Is it going to be an industrial site? And, with the residential properties, they're going to be in regional areas, going to be in the metro area. You can already see all together at this point that property's already got about 20 to 30 investments within it. And you're just like, whoa, how am I meant to diversify myself to all those other areas? And it gets worse. It gets into Australian shares and international shares. And now you have the whole damn economy that you got to consider. Mining, banks, technology, healthcare. These are only a few. And even these little sectors have their own subclasses too. So how do you achieve diversification? Diversification is generally used by a lot of people who don't have the expertise in the financial area, and the main aim of it as well is to generate a smooth return. And the basis of it is that when something goes up and another area goes down, the idea is they generally offset. Obviously, this doesn't happen in practice too much, but that's your main aim of the game of trying to capture most of the market altogether, so that if something goes up and something goes down at the same time, they either offset, or you can use the profits from here to invest in an undervalued asset, knowing they'll probably bounce back in the future. That's the sort of idea behind it. And also, not to mention as well, if you invest in one asset, your returns can be like this. But if you invest in multiple assets, it's going to be like this, but slower. Like you're slower at gaining higher returns. But on the upside as well, if it goes back against you, it won't hit too hard either. Now, overall, there's a lot of different ways for investments to be done and to be diversified. I mean, this is the worst part. That there's managed funds, as they call it, like listed investment companies and exchange traded funds, where they invest money on your behalf. Even those you have to diversify as well, because some just hug the index, hug the all ordinaries, and others pick 30 to 40 shares that will do well in the future, whether it's going to be from value based, whether the shares undervalued, or if they want to hold mature companies as well. And they have different investment styles as well, which you can see now it gets billions times worse. And you just have to pick and choose what you feel most comfortable with, basically, as well. Anyways, guys, I think I'll leave that to you guys as well. I think it'll take a while for you to digest on how diversification works. Overall, when you actually are doing your investment portfolio, you need to make sure that the diversification is achieved not only in the asset classes, but in the subclasses as well. Let me just put it to you this way. For Australian shares, for example, if your Australian share portfolio was just BHP, Rio Tinto, and Fortescue Metals, what do you think happens when the resources prices drop? Your Australian share portfolio will do a lot worse, but it could have been banks and other sectors in there as well that could have done a lot better in the Australian market, and you've missed out because of poor diversification. So that could be a consequence as a result of it, of not digging in far enough. So what you need to do with when you're trying to achieve diversification is that have I covered all the relevant asset types as best as I can with different investments. If you can say yes to that, then you've probably achieved perfect, or not perfect, but an ideal range of diversification. Anyways, guys, that's gonna be it. Okay, let you digest this one. Like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you guys soon. Peace out. Bye.